Coaches. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, they can't hold a flame against you, ay. Blow the whistle, blow the whistle, ay. Blow the whistle, got the game, it ain't no issue, yeah. Blowing the whistle, I had enough with you, the championship, it is gone. Ain't listen to you, I can't give it to you, cause you don't know what I've been on. This is the Coaches Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the Fantasy Coaches. I am your host, as always, Coach Steve, guys. If you were joining us earlier today, we did one of our episodes, and now we're in our second episode of today, guys, finishing off our ADP round-by-round breakdown. So it was just me today, guys. No Coach Jibbs, no Coach Don. They're too tired to go late-night podcast. They're little babies about it, but we had to give you guys another episode because I wanted to make sure we did at least two every single week in August, and this happened to be the only day that worked for at least me. So I do have a guest on, a good friend Shane here. Welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
Dude, I'm great, and it's been a little bit since we've podcasted, and your new intro is straight fire. Like, I love that.
Thank you. I
bopping back and forth while it's going on, so I love that.
We'll just wait.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Just wait till the ending, too. It's more fun that way, too. So, yeah, appreciate you jumping on. We actually talked about the Poly playoffs on the previous show today,
Awesome.
So we gave you a little advertisement there.
Thank
so,
you.
Absolutely. So, yes, today's show is going to be fun. Obviously, if you were on earlier or if you were on last week's show, we were doing our ADP breakdowns, basically going through the motions on each round, looking at ADP based off Fantasy Pros, half-point PPR, and looking what's there, looking what could be good value, bad value, and kind of doing a fun mock draft about it to kind of break down each player like real quickly. So we'll kind of get right into it since we did the news on the last show today already. Actually, Shane, real quick before, where do you think Jonathan Taylor's going?
You're going to like my answer. I think he needs to go to Miami 100%. It makes too much sense for their team needs and for what he wants to do. They could not run the ball up the middle last year because of the backs that they have. They drafted a carbon copy, I think, in Devin Achane. He fits the exact same style that they already have. I think they need someone who can play a little bully ball. So that way it would, one, take a little pressure off of Tua, and two, when they do get up in games, they can actually run the clock out because they've actually got the ability to pound the ball.
I love that answer, obviously, and we briefly mentioned it before on the last show because we had a little time left. But yeah, I mean, Miami makes a ton of sense. I just saw this thing on TikTok. Someone mentioned like Buffalo. That would be pretty interesting. Even though
I would love it if he would go to Buffalo, just so everybody that's high as all get out on James Cook will shut up. Like,
that would be fun.
For me, the James Cook hype is just like, it's out of control. So the other place I saw, I don't know if you saw it. I don't remember who it was that said it, but Kansas City makes a lot of sense too.
Kansas City does make a lot of sense. They have a need at running back, so I like that. Someone said the Bears. I'd be like, that just doesn't make any sense.
No,
they already have enough running backs back there.
Yeah,
they do not need another running back. So someone, I think it was Kyle on the last show, was like, oh, he's probably going to go to the Jets. I'm like, yeah, they just need to add more running backs to that backfield. So would be a lot of fun. So, but I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll see if it even happens. I mean, it's not going to be a cheap price tag. The Colts made it pretty obvious that they're not going to throw them away for pennies. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But let's get into the fun action today. So like I said, we're talking league winning, late rounds at this point, and then we're on to round 11. And this round has the Jared Goff, running backs, Jarrett McKinnon, Zeke Elliott, tight ends. This is the tight end round. Crazy. This is the next, like that second tier of tight ends that are younger. And Dalton Schultz, Grego Dulcich, Cole Kmet, Chig, Dalton Kincaid. You got the wide receivers in Quentin Johnston, Alan Lazard, Sky Moore. So this round's pretty interesting overall. But Shane, we'll start with the negatives here. Is there someone in this round you don't like outside of the 10,000 tight ends that are going around this area?
Oh, I think you and I talked about this on the episode I guested with you earlier in the offseason. It's Quentin Johnston. Now, 11th round ADP, I might can stomach that depending on your team build. But I'm not a QJ guy whatsoever. So I'll just pick on him a little bit there. He's the one that and he's the earliest ADP of this group. I think there's some other value picks here that McKinnon. I didn't see McKinnon. And Goff, but he's QB. He didn't count one QB.
Yeah,
but he's the earliest that's like a big name because I feel like McKinnon. I don't know. I'm rambling. QJ's the answer for me here.
No. I mean, I get it. I mean, I just don't see the appeal of drafting Allen Lazard at all. I mean, I just don't see the upside in around 11. Like in the double digits at this point, when you're drafting in drafts, you want to find upside plays. I just don't see where Allen Lazard has ever shown us an upside play in his life, besides scoring like 8 touchdowns one season. So for me, it's like Allen Lazard in terms of this motions. Is there someone you really like in this round that you would consider drafting?
Absolutely. This may surprise you, but it's Dalton Schultz. And the only reason I think that's surprising is because it is a tight end. But the receiving room in Houston is wide open, in my opinion. You've got Nico Collins, who's unproven. You've got the rookie Tank Dell. You got Dalton Schultz. You got Damian Pierce out of the backfield, potentially Singletary out of the backfield. I'm probably forgetting a receiver. Robert Woods is there. Yeah. But I think Dalton Schultz will be a kind of a volume hog in this offense, with a really easy path to a tight end one season again.
I like it. I like that a lot. I think I would probably end up going with Sky Moore. I have been growing on Sky Moore over the last month and a half or so now, and I feel like in round 11, it's like the right time to take a guy like Sky Moore. The upside is there. It's a lot of risk still because we just don't know if he's going to see that production. But if he does, this is the time to take him because the upside is there. Round 11, perfect time for that. So that's the one player I definitely would go with in round 11 if I could get him. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. All right. So let's mock draft this round here. This is always fun. This is going to be interesting. I'll let you go first on this one and give me the first person you would draft in this round.
Man, I feel I'm going to take a risk here and go spicy and go with the guy I just talked about, Dalton Schultz.
I like it. I will go. Yeah, we made it easy. I'm going to go Sky Moore. I just think it makes a ton of sense of what is going on in this round. Okay. Just the upside that he offers, like I said. So now I'll make it hard for you now.
No, this one was actually easy. I was hoping he would. There was a chance. I was taking a chance that he might fall. I'm going to take Jerick McKinnon here.
Okay, I like that. It's a good pick. I'm interested to see how this this Chiefs backfield,
offense.
This Chiefs offense does because
with the way that they used Pacheco, I get that he's young and he's a tough runner, but when it came to the valuable targets of receiving, it was Jerick McKinnon.
That is true. I guess I just want to see him with Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
That's what I was about to say. Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also on a contract year, so I've been scooping him up in late rounds if I can.
I like it. All right. Let's see. Well, I'm going to go with Quentin Johnson then. Like I said, unlike you, I do like Quentin Johnson a lot there. And the opportunity for him to potentially see the field, I think is a pretty good chance that he actually gets the starting role at some point during the season. Mm-hmm. Not because of his talent, but mostly because the guys in front of him are injury-prone wide receivers. So there's potential at points during this year. We're going to be talking about Johnston as a sleeper guy for the week or breakout guy for the week. So I'm going to go Quentin Johnson there.
I like it. I'm going to go really off-brand here.
Okay.
And go Dalton Kincaid.
I like it.
I am not a Kincaid guy. Michael Mayer is still my tight end one. Call me stubborn. But I will concede that there is potential for Kincaid to step into the number 2 role and from a pass catching standpoint in this offense. But there's 3 people that can step into that role. That's my biggest problem with him. And so I'm going Dalton Kincaid here because of the upside.
I like it. This is now, it's kind of tough now.
I made it ugly for you.
You know what? if I didn't have a quarterback at this moment, I'm going to go Jared Goff here. I'm still excited to see what he's able to do in this offense here. I think there's a lot of the young talent that I think has the potential to break out this year. Hopefully, Jameson Williams can come back and be better than what he's shown us so far, and that's going to be a key factor, I think, for Jared Goff's development this season here. And so I'm going to take the quarterback here.
Yep. All right, I'm going 13 personnel. Give me Cole Kmet.
I like it. That's a good pick right there.
Yeah,
I was going to pick him next if you didn't.
Yes. Okay, good. He's just, Notre Dame tight end. I have a soft spot for them as a Notre Dame fan. But he's going into year 3 or 4. I can't remember which at this point. And usually that's when we start to see younger tight ends, especially ones who have gotten as much playing time as him, really start to take off. So I feel pretty good about Kmet.
All right. So there's about 4 players left. 3 players left. All right.
There's 4, right?
No, 3.
There's 4.
3. Is there 4?
Oh, there is 4. Did you take Lazard yet?
I did not take Lazard yet. So
okay,
no, you're right. Absolutely. Yes. So I'm going to go with the Titans. The Titans tight end, Chig. It just makes sense with Treylon Burks, dealing with his injury right now. He may not be at 100% by the start of the season. Last year Chig was a fantastic tight end down the stretch there with big plays downfield. I mean, there's really no second option if Burks is not on the field outside of DeAndre Hopkins. So, give me the young electric tight end.
I like that a lot. I debated between him and Kmet, so I think we're on the same page there.
We are.
I'm going to go Zeke here. I think Zeke's going to be a touchdown hog this year. At least that's what I'm hoping for. And again, in round 11, that gives you a lot of potential game-winning and league-winning upside.
I like it. I'm going to take Allen Lazard.
Oh!
Yeah, I'm not letting Allen Lazard go last here.
I was taking a gamble that you were going to
take Dulcich.
Dulcich, yeah.
No. Well, I'll give you the reason why I don't want him. I'm concerned on the split role that he's seeing in this Denver's offense with Adam Trotman. It seems to be a pretty obvious thing. But yeah, I didn't like Allen Lazard here, and I don't want to take him here. But if we're looking in just this round alone, he has still potential to maybe score 8 touchdowns. Maybe he's not going to be a wide receiver 2, but he could be a high-end wide receiver 3 with touchdown upside dependence.
Yeah.
So, and of course,
here's the one reason I like Lazard is after Garrett Wilson, there's one person on the Jets that has the most chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. I don't count Randall Cobb because Randall Cobb's is ancient at this point. It's Allen Lazard, and I think Rodgers has somewhat turned a corner to where he's maybe not relying on that as much or using that crutch. But if there is one thing that I think will get him or get Lazard some value, is that familiarity with Rodgers.
I like it. I get it.
So obviously I get Dulcich, and he's not a guy I'm drafting anywhere, to be completely honest with you. Russ does not have a history of supporting tight ends. And I think there's too many mouths to feed in that offense because Sean Payton should do what Nathaniel Hackett was supposed to do, which was bring this offense to glory with Russ, Javonte Williams, Samaje Perine, Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Marvin Mims, and then Dulcich. There's too many mouths to feed for me. And I'm just not a Dulcich guy.
I respect it. Yeah, I mean, neither am I now. I mean, I thought there was potential, and now the way I'm looking at this, it's just I don't see a big upside play for him in terms of a tight end. I'm avoiding him if I can. So, all right, let's go to round 12 now. The round 12 is kind of small. Unfortunately, I did have to take into account that some of these rounds had kickers, defenses.
Okay.
So that's why we have an extra slide at the end because normally, I would just do players, but I wanted to stick to ADP exactly here. So these are the players that are going in round 12, including tight defenses and kickers that we're not going to mention today. But no quarterbacks, no tight ends. But Devin Singletary, Tyler Algier, Raheem Mostert are running backs going in round 12. Wide receivers, Rashad Bateman, Adam Thielen, Jameson Williams. So Shane, I mean, again, there's only 6 players to choose from, but is there someone here that you don't want to draft at all? Let's stick to that.
Don't want to draft at all is Adam Thielen. I don't trust him with his age at this point to be able to play a full season. I think. I don't know. It's probably misguided, but he's the one that I'm like, yeah, I don't have any shares of him. I don't think.
I respect it. It makes a ton of sense. He's what, 33, 34 years old at least. I mean,
and there's a lot of youth in that offense.
There is tons of youth there. If I had to pick somebody, I mean, Rashad Bateman. I've never been a big fan of Rashad Bateman over his career here. I just don't see where he sees a big target workload in this offense. I mean, I really do like, I think that Odell and Zay Flowers have a better shot at it, closer to 100 targets than Rashad Bateman does in the coming season. So he's someone I'm kind of out on. So, So, again, I'm not a big fan of him. But
it makes sense.
Yeah. So let's go to the mock on this one because it's a smaller one here at this point. There's really, only 6 players. We're going to talk about all 6 players here. So Shane, I'll let you go first on this one.
Oh, thank you. That's a really, really easy pick for me here. It's Raheem Mostert. He's got, if he stays healthy, he's he's the RB1 in Miami right now. Obviously, like, we're recording this today, Jonathan Taylor hasn't been traded to the Dolphins yet. So, if Taylor were to go to the Dolphins, then that would completely change this answer. But right now, as of this moment, it's Raheem Mostert. I think he's the most, I'd say the most talented running back on this screen right here. And I don't know, that Miami backfield is interesting to say the least right now.
Yeah, that's for sure. But Raheem Mostert is definitely the main guy if you have to pick somebody right now. So I like it. I'm going to just take Jameson Williams here. Okay. I've been kind of fading him a little bit. I'm just not liking what I'm seeing in terms of production so far at camp and preseason and everything that he's going through right now. I feel like he got a bad stick, and I feel like he's just making the stick worse for himself.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. So, but again, I'm okay taking the 6-game suspension in round 12 because he's definitely a bench option and the potential upside that he does offer once he gets back on the field. So I'll take Jameson Williams with that first pick here.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go Tyler Algier here. Okay. I think he's going to actually end up being what I like to call a hyper handcuff, where he is the team's RB2, but has some flex value. Because of how much Atlanta's going to want to run, he's still going to get, I think, enough touches to at least be flex worthy in fantasy.
Maybe AJ Dillon light, kind of individual, and you're getting him.
He might end up
later.
This may be bold, but like he could probably outscore AJ Dillon.
I could see it. Touchdowns.
Yeah,
I could see it. I saw someone post something about Robinson only seeing like 225 carries and, Algier seeing like 130. And I don't really see that being like out of the realm of possibility, to be honest.
No, I don't either.
I don't think Atlanta wants to overuse Robinson so early in his career when they know they don't have the pieces for a run at any kind of playoffs or championship yet. So why not use the guy you got in the 5th round and let him work off a lot of work? He did well. So why not use him?
I don't remember where he finished last year, but I'm going to go look it up.
Yeah, take a look. I'll go to my player here. So while you're doing that, I will take Adam Thielen just on the basis that he's likely the week 1 starter. Terrence Marshall has not been doing enough at camp for me to say that he's going to break in the starting lineup. Plus he's hurt right now. Mm-hmm. So, there might be like garbage targets that I don't like, but I'd rather take him over the other 2.
Yeah. So Algier did finish with 1,000 yards last year. He was really low on touchdowns. He only scored 3, and then wasn't really used in the passing game. But I saw somewhere someone on Twitter mentioned that the RB2 for the Falcons last year still had about 10 touches a game last year. So I think that's going to be Algier, and I think he's still got some nice value. And then Thielen, we already talked about. I'll give you the reason why I like your pick with Thielen, and that's because the Carolina receiving room is completely wide open in my opinion right now. I've made the joke a couple times that Adam Thielen is the best wide receiver coach in the NFL. So that's really why I think they brought him in. But if he stays healthy, there is a realm of possibility where he has some fantasy relevance. I just don't see it. I see someone like DJ Chark ultimately being the wide receiver one for this team, and then hopefully Jonathan Mingo stepping up as well.
Right.
All right, I'm going to take Rashad Bateman here. They don't have Greg Roman anymore, so I'm hoping that will unlock some hidden pieces in this offense. And I personally think that the wide receiver room in Baltimore behind Andrews is still kind of open. I'm not an OBJ guy. That may be a little personal, but we can talk about that later. But Zay Flowers, Zay Flowers could ultimately end up being the wide receiver one by a long shot. That kid is always going to be open with how twitchy he is. So, but Bateman here and I think Baltimore's still going to be a good offense. 12th round, I'll take a shot.
I like it. And obviously I'm stuck with Devin Singletary, which I know everyone's on the Dameon Pierce train after this last preseason game, and he was just everywhere. And I get it. I'm still not a fan of Pierce. I'm really hoping that Singletary does get some work. I think he will still, but it might not be as much as what I expected when they first signed him. So we'll have to wait and see. But he's a bench guy that I think he probably will end up on waivers more times than not. So I don't really want to draft him either. So in the 12th round, if I don't have to. So, all right, round 13. Now we have some players finally, and a lot more players that I want to probably draft, to be honest, here compared to that last round. So, round 13, we have some more quarterbacks off the board here. Oh no, Terry McLaurin injured.
No.
Exit the field, headed to the locker room. I don't know. We're not going to talk about that. So quarterbacks, we have Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young. For tight ends, we have Tyler Higbee. Running backs, Deontay Foreman, our boy Tank Bigsby, Kenny Gainwell, Jalen Warren. Wide receivers, Romeo Doubs, Tyler Boyd, and Jalen Hyatt. So tell me somebody, Shane, you don't like in this group.
Yeah, someone I don't like is actually pretty easy. It's Kenny Pickett. I'm not a Kenny Pickett guy. Never have been, never will be. If you know Herms on Twitter, at Herms NFL, he and I have a charity bet for this season. If Kenny Pickett finishes higher than Sam Howell, then I donate $50 to his charity of choice. If Sam Howell finishes higher than Kenny Pickett, then he's donating $50 to my charity of choice. So that's how little I believe in Kenny Pickett, but it's also how much I believe in Sam Howell. I think Kenny Pickett, when he came into the NFL, was at his ceiling of development. I don't see him getting any better than he already is. He could easily prove me wrong. I just don't see that happening. I do think him and Najee Harris were winners in the draft because they did finally invest in the offensive line. But I just have never bought in on the Kenny Pickett hype. So that's my my hater hat, I guess, if you will, is being thrown at Kenny Pickett.
I respect it. Again, like you, I am a very big Sam Howell fan as well. So,
like you.
Yeah. There's someone here I don't really care for, and I don't hate him, but it just doesn't fit the motion of taking him in round 13. Is Tyler Boyd. I think Tyler Boyd's a solid wide receiver, very solid NFL wide receiver, great wide receiver 3 for a team. I just don't really see his upside for us in fantasy. I mean, he's someone who want to finish with 700-800 yards, 6 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, maybe. But it's never going to be a consistent week where you're going to want to start him, and he's not going to put up 20-point games ever, probably, unless an injury occurs. So, I mean, I'd rather take a guy like Dobbs or Hyatt that could maybe have big upside potential than going with Tyler Boyd, who's we know is the automatic 3 on that team here. So he's a guy I'm kind of turned off of there. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Can we all both agree our favorite person is Tank Bigsby on this list?
Oh, easily.
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. Tank Bigsby. I don't know if you want to go into detail. I know you're very passionate about Bigsby.
Yeah, sure. So, my hot take pre-NFL draft was Bigsby could easily be RB3 in this class, and I think he had potential to finish as RB2. which is ahead of Gibbs in my book. The reason for that is he's really underrated as a pass catcher coming in, and everything. And I should probably stick to my guns with it post NFL draft too. The problem is where he landed. I love it for real in football. It's definitely a motivating factor in me choosing the Jags as my favorite team going forward. Is I love Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. But from a fantasy football standpoint, I'm worried that they're going to end up eating into each other. But Tank Bigsby, if Etienne ever goes down, has the talent and capability to easily man that workload and potentially see RB1 weeks, multiple weeks in a row, depending on how long Etienne is out. And some people, I won't agree with this because I believe in Etienne too, would probably tell you that they think Tank is good enough to, if that were to ever happen, never let Etienne back into his old role. I don't see that with Jacksonville. I know that the current regime didn't necessarily draft Etienne, but he is a round 1 RB pedigree. He's technically going into year 2 if you think about it, because he missed his entire rookie season with an injury. Yeah. And I think he's got a lot of experience and chemistry with Trevor Lawrence. So I don't know if they would ever really just get rid of Etienne. But I do. Bigsby easily has the talent to be a 3-down back whenever needed.
Agreed. I love it. Love that. Yes, I'm a big fan myself, so I like it.
Awesome.
All right, so let's go through the motions here, the mock draft here, and Shane, I'm just going to continue to give you the first pick because I like you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really thought you might take it on this one so you could take Tank, but I'm gonna stay on brand. I'm gonna stick to it and stay with Tank here.
I like it. Probably gonna go Jalen Warren here. Okay. I really do like Jalen Warren's ability as the lightning to Najee Harris's thunder in this offense here. I'm not taking his 62-yard touchdown to heart, oh my God. But
thank you.
He can do those things. It might not be 60-yard touchdowns every week, but he can pull off 10, 15-yard runs very easily. And
can we go back to Tank for a minute?
Sure.
So this is related to Jalen Warren. The thing that I think people are now catching up on, because they're seeing him in preseason and seeing him in camp, is Tank has the ability to do that. He ran a 4.51 at the combine, but he's got enough game speed to break a 20-yard run plus really, really easily. So I think people underrated Tank in that department.
Yes, I think it's always been a negative. Oh, we ran a bad 40. Well, watch the game film. It's different.
Yep.
But yeah, Jalen Warren, just makes sense here for me because I feel like, God forbid, something happens to Najee. I think Warren has the ability to produce, and I think he could end up having some standalone value for us this coming season here as a potential flex option in certain weeks. And if he continues to get more involved in the offense, it'd be very intriguing. So I'm going to go with my number 2 pick there.
I like it. Do I go with my heart or do I go? No, I'm going with my heart because it's closest to ADP too. Give me Bryce Young here.
Okay.
I think you and I have talked about how I love Bryce Young. If you guys don't know why I'm a Tank fan, I'm an Auburn fan also, which means I don't like Alabama where Bryce Young played. I've seen Bryce Young play a ton. I think this kid is like Neo in the Matrix. I've said that all off season, but that when he is in the pocket, he is so calm and poised beyond his years. And I've seen it already, I think, carrying into the NFL. I'm hoping he pulls some Ted Lasso in his rookie year, because every rookie has a bad rookie year, throws a lot of interceptions. I'm hoping he's like a goldfish and forgets those, because I think the arm talent and just the football IQ will allow Bryce Young to have a long career, and I think a really good year this year.
Yeah, I like it. Again, I'm not a big fan on Bryce Young.
It's the size, isn't it?
It's the size. The size it brings me. I hate to bring it as an option, but the size does scare me. Again, maybe after one season and actually doing it at the pro level, I'll change my mind a little bit on him. But for right now, I want to see it before I go out there and put him on the field, especially in like a 23 season kind of thing. So
yeah, that's fair.
Next guy, I'm gonna take Romeo Doubs. I've been very intrigued with Romeo Doubs lately here, looking at his stats and everything like that, and hearing what I'm hearing at practice and everything. Jordan Love needs somebody as his favorite target, and Romeo Doubs continues to be that guy so far through training camp, through preseason so far. Him and Jordan Love so far have played well together. 4 for 4 for 70 yards and a touchdown. You heard back when we were talking back in March and stuff that Romeo Doubs could be very interesting this year. He could be a very big surprise for us for this Packers offense here. And in the 13th round, he is a perfect guy to take and wait to see what happens, to see if he can blossom in his second season, being the number 2 guy or so on the offense here, and a quarterback that needs to find playmakers. So,
yeah. Give me Jalen Hyatt.
Okay, I like it.
I think Waller to me is going to be the clear-cut number 1 target in that offense. Then it's probably Barkley, which feels like kind of crazy to say, but I think Jalen Hyatt, if he can get or stay healthy, whichever way you want to see it, I think he's going to be really, really good for this offense. And he's the type of player like you've been talking about, like with his speed, he can take the top off the defense. That can give you 2 touchdowns in a week, and that'll win you the week. And depending on what week that is or how often that's happening, you could be in for real good shape.
I like it. Yeah. And the potential upside that he offers, I want to see it on the field. I'm excited to see what he's able to do with all that speed on the field.
Yeah.
Have you been watching the Commanders game tonight?
No.
Fucking Sam Howell's going off like a crazy man. A crazy man against the Ravens backups. Yeah. 200, almost 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oof, he's playing well. I can't wait.
Good. I'm going to go retweet my Sam Howell thread right about now.
You should definitely do that. Everyone's talking about Sam Howell on Twitter right now. So, all right, here. Let's see. What's next? I'm going to go Tyler Higbee.
Okay.
I feel like Tyler Higbee is just a really underrated tight end in the tight end landscape, to be honest here. He played very well last year. And he was tight end 7, tight end 8. Again, not a crazy accomplishment, but he's someone that you could draft here at this point of the draft if you chose to skip out on all the other tight ends. And he should be the number 2 guy. Maybe the number 3 guy, but could be the number 2 guy in terms of targets in this offense here outside of Cooper Kupp. And we saw when Cooper Kupp went down, Tyler Higbee, was the guy on the offense. He was the only guy that could play. So in the third, at this point, whatever's left, I'm going to take Tyler Higbee here.
I mean, at this range, if you went back 2 rounds to round 11 where we had all those tight ends, or you told me I could wait 2 rounds and take Tyler Higbee, I might wait 2 rounds and take Tyler Higbee over all of those guys.
Exactly.
I think other than Schultz, and not just tooting my own horn, but like you just said, Higbee is I think the clear-cut number 2 in this offense, and if Kupp goes down, the clear-cut number 1. He has the easiest path out of those 6 guys if you combine this round and round 11. Right. It might be 7. I can't remember. Yeah. I think to a tight end 1 path. So why, like, you've got to take that in the 13th round.
Yeah, I've been taking him a lot. I took him in the Scott Fish Bowl. So it's made too much sense not to take him.
Nice.
So, all right. I think you're back up here. We got about 4 picks left.
2 QBs, 2 running backs, and 1 receiver. I'm going to pretend like I'm drafting for a different team and not the same team that just took Bryce Young. I'm going to go Russell Wilson here.
All right, I like it.
I'm hoping Sean Payton will fix him and get him back to, letting Russ cook version of Russ, not the letting Russ have a cooking show Russ.
I like it there. Again, I'm still cautious on when it comes to Russell Wilson. Last year really turned me off on him.
Yeah.
And again, he hasn't looked that great in preseason so far. So I'm really hoping that he can turn things around because there's so much offensive potential for that Denver team there. That's what the sad part is. Like, I want to see more of it, and Russ needs to get his shit together. So
yeah,
I like it. So again, but these quarterbacks taking them here, I mean, they're fine taking any one of these guys if you wanted to. But I'm going to go with Kenny Gainwell. He's been someone who actually, when I first set this up last week, this PowerPoint, he wasn't on the first 15 rounds. He was someone we talked about. We're going to talk about the end, and then obviously had to make sure this was updated as of today. And he jumped all the way to round 15. So his situation is moving up, and it was probably partially because he didn't play in the game last week. Did he play, or was it the week before he played? Can't remember now. I can't remember now. But it's clear that he played this week. He didn't play last week. But it's pretty clear that he is going to have some kind of role in this team here. I wouldn't be surprised, instead of everyone saying DeAndre Swift and Rashad Penny, it's going to be DeAndre Swift and Kenny Gainwell at the end of the day.
Well, here's why I agree with you there, Steven. Rashad Penny will play 4 games and then get hurt again. So
that's true. That is true. We were talking about him being potentially cut. His contract's very minimal. I mean, I don't really see why they couldn't just cut him, keep the guys who know the offense, and bring in DeAndre Swift. Yeah. So it'd be interesting. And he's going in round 8. Kenny Gainwell's going in round 13. So I'd rather take Kenny Gainwell right now, and because he knows this offense. He's been used very well in multiple ways as a weapon. So
yeah, no, I agree with you there on Gainwell. Alrighty. This is like picking which way you want to stub your toe right now.
Basically. 3 picks left.
That means I'm getting 2 of these guys.
Yep.
I'm really scared you're going to leave me with one of them, and I don't want you to. But I'm going to take Tyler Boyd here because I know you don't like him. And I think just with the offense that he's in and how good he is as a receiver, like, no, he's not necessarily going to be a league winner like we're talking about here, but I do think he gives you a decent floor as a flex play. Now, admittedly, that floor can sometimes fall out of the bottom because Jamar Chase and T. Higgins are so good that they'll just go off, or Joe Mixon will randomly have a 50-point game. But I still like Tyler Boyd, at least from a flex standpoint, so I'll take him here.
I like it. I'm not gonna take the guy you hated the most here, but I'm gonna take Kenny Pickett.
Okay, good.
Yes. I get your prediction for Kenny Pickett and the lack of upside that he can present as a passer. But again, he didn't look great last year, but I'm hoping from what I'm seeing in preseason, again, taking it with a grain of salt, but he's got the weapons. And if he could just get them the ball, they can do the rest for him. So I'm really hoping that Kenny Pickett is capable enough. Again, not really drafting me in round 13, but if you're looking for these late round quarterbacks, I don't hate him because I feel like he's around a talented offense that he just needs to get them the ball and let them do the job. So
yeah.
And the last pick.
That leaves me Deontay Foreman. I actually don't mind Deontay Foreman. I've just been really hot lately on Roschon Johnson. Mm-hmm. And so I have been more in on Roschon Johnson. I don't know what round he's going in.
We will get to him, I think. So
okay. So I've been more in on him than I have been on Deontay Foreman lately. If you asked me this question, let's say 4 weeks ago, I probably would have told you Foreman. Another guy that I didn't understand the hype on coming into this offseason was Khalil Herbert. Yes, he looked really, really good and had some really, really good games last year. But with what they've done in the offseason, bringing in Foreman and Roschon Johnson, it tells me that they see him as a change of pace back. Now, that could be a very involved change of pace back, but I don't think they see him as a 3-down back, which to me limits his fantasy value. With Foreman, before they drafted Johnson, I saw him being the Thunder and Khalil Herbert being the Lightning. Now, how that ended up being a split, I don't know. But I liked Foreman a lot, especially with what he did in Carolina and what he did. He was in Tennessee the year before that, if I remember correctly. As a fill-in starting running back, he's awesome. And getting him this late, I'll take it. Now, I did want to circle back to Kenny Pickett.
Okay.
So Trevor Lawrence in his rookie year had a 2.0 touchdown percentage for his entire rookie year, which is historically god awful.
It's bad. It's bad.
Okay, but he had a coaching change. He actually went from an NFL kicking coach to a real NFL coach. Mike Tomlin, I think, is one of the best coaches in the NFL. People can fight me on that if they want, but I think he's very, very good at what he does. I don't know if he's good enough even to get Kenny Pickett better than what he was at, which was Kenny Pickett has to go up from where he was because it was so low. It was a 1.8% touchdown rate. So 0.2 less than Trevor Lawrence. Most people in their rookie year, I think, average about 3%. So for Kenny Pickett to have this astronomical, just league-winning upside, I feel like he's got to triple his, not even double, triple his touchdown rate to get to fantasy relevance. And I don't see that.
No, I mean, I respect it. He's got an uphill battle, but he does have some. He's
got nice weapons. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's what he's got. So, I could sit here all day watching Sam Howell on Twitter. It's great. It's the best thing ever. So
it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. All right. So round 14 here. We got a lot of players here again. Round 14's got the Brock Purdy's, the Jordan Loves, Derek Carr at quarterback. Then you have my boy Sam Laporta as tight end. You have running backs Roshan Johnson, Kendre Miller, Kareem Hunt, Chuba Hubbard, Deuce Vaughn. Wide receivers Jacoby Myers and Darnell Mooney. So anyone you don't like here? Outside of quarterbacks, obviously. So
okay, outside of quarterbacks,
you're not really taking these guys here. So
outside of quarterbacks, I'm putting this in quotations just because this could change pretty quickly. And I like in Pauly's playoff, for example, he's on the board at least right now as a potential person for me to draft coming up, and it's Kareem Hunt. I don't know if we'll ever see Kareem Hunt I think Kareem Hunt from Kansas City is long gone. I think Kareem Hunt is the RB2 in Cleveland, where he did have a top 12 finish, is in the realm of possibility, but a lot of things would have to go right for him. Obviously, getting on a team would be the first step. And that's my biggest thing with him, especially in drafts, it's redraft. Yes, it's the 14th round, but I don't know if I'm willing to take that shot when there are all these other guys, the other 4 running backs on this list, I would rather take because there's a path to volume because they're actually on a team. Now, obviously, again, this changes if he ends up signing somewhere. But today, if you're in a draft and you're on the board and all these guys are here and you pick Kareem Hunt, I think you're burning a pick for right now.
I respect it. I mean, I think a realistic possibility ends up in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
If Taylor gets traded. But again, we can't know until that actually happens. So
yeah. And don't forget, Lombardi Lenny's still out there too.
Yeah. Let's see if he has got one visit with the Patriots and that's it. So
I think so.
Again, outside of Kareem Hunt, I'm not a big fan of Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, that'd probably be the other one.
He's the third option, I feel like, at best. Because I think Hunter Renfrow is still the number 2, and I think whatever they're going to force Jimmy G to do to get the ball to Devontae Adams, they're going to do that. And I think Myers gets left out after being the guy for the last few years in Indianapolis, for New England. So he's someone else I don't really care to draft. There's no upside. I don't see any upside with him. So all right, so let's draft this round here. I'll go first. I'll take it away from you here. So for me, man, I'm going to take Sam Laporta. I'm a big fan of Sam Laporta. I know it's hard for a rookie tight end to break out as a rookie. Not many of them do, but we've seen it recently over the last few years that tight ends that are rookies can produce. He's already named the starting tight end for this offense here. Yeah, I mean, they want him there. He's working with the first team offense consistently now. There's like no one else really. Brock Wright, I mean, come on. Jameson Williams to start the season here, he has potential to be the 2-3 in terms of targets early on in the season. Will he do that? Maybe not. Maybe he'll be the 3-4 at best to start off in the season, but this man is a baller tight end. Can do it all. He's going to be real effective in the red zone, and I'm excited for him as a tight end. Again, he's somebody else I'm also waiting on tight end if I want to, and getting Sam Laporta. Like the Tyler Higbee-Sam Laporta combo is something I've been doing a lot of in drafts this year, and you can do that easily.
I like that a lot.
Thank you. So what do you got with yours?
Give me Roshan.
Good pick.
Yeah, I mentioned when talking about Foreman, just everything that I've seen on him over the last couple of weeks has me really excited. I think he can actually take over this running back room. And maybe I don't think it's hot take. I've seen people talk about it on Twitter. I think he could be a 3-down back. Obviously, I don't know if they're going to use him like that, but give me Roshan here because, I mean, he's just a powerful runner. He's going to be able to rip off some powerful runs that are longer because of people are just going to bounce off of him. And if he does end up as the starting running back, you're getting a starting running back in round 14. That's really freaking good.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go Kendra Miller. Okay. Again, you have to understand that it's going to be maybe a roller coaster season. He could end up having a really strong start. Obviously, Kamara's suspended the first 3 games of the season. Miller has an opportunity to see early on passing work in the offense here. And if he does well, I don't see how the Saints can kind of go away from him.
Yeah.
And don't use him more. Again, it's a risk to take. But in round 14, this is the risk you can take at this point here. He's shown upside, and I'm excited to see what he's able to do early on. And if he can stick it, he might be someone that might be worthy of rostering at that point. So,
yep, I like it. All right. Give me Darnell Mooney.
Okay.
My biggest point with Darnell Mooney, other than the Bears wanting to pass more, they've made that very, very clear, I think. Yes. They still want to run the ball, but I think they want to pass more because they were a league low. I think it was around 19 or 20 pass attempts per game. Even if they bump that up to 25, 30 a game, that will be more volume, obviously. But let's say that's five attempts more per game. That's essentially 80 targets across the year to spread around. Last year, the Bears they had Darnell Mooney, and then he got hurt, and then they had basically a bunch of you and me, Steve. Like they were playing with accountants and salespeople and soccer coaches. And I think the thing that people aren't talking about enough with Darnell Mooney is he's never had a wide receiver like DJ Moore on the other side of him.
Right.
So what that to me says is people they can't focus on just Darnell Mooney. They can't focus on just DJ Moore. And I think that'll end up allowing both of them to have better years than what we've seen previously. Darnell Mooney is one of the best route runners in the league. That may be hot takey, but that man can create separation like nobody's business with his route running. So give me Darnell Mooney here.
I like the positivity towards Mooney. They don't really hear that too much positivity right now.
I haven't understood it. Like all offseason, people have been super down on Mooney. I'm like, I don't get it. Like who else are they going to throw to in that offense? Like, yes, Kmet. But I still think Mooney gets more targets than Kmet.
I like it. I was always a big Mooney fan, so I get it. Give me Derek Carr here.
Shoot.
I understand that Derek Carr had a down year and he got himself thrown out of Vegas, but I don't think Derek Carr's best play is to force it to one player consistently, and that's what I feel like happened last year way too much because they got himself a guy he'd love to throw the ball to. It definitely worked better when he was able to spread the ball out a little bit better in the previous years, and I think he has a good deep ball in his game that works with the players that he's moving to New Orleans now. Chris Olave is one of the best deep ball players in the league here.
Derek Carr's one of the most accurate deep ball throwers in the league.
He is. He's absolutely was. Not last year, but previous years, he absolutely was. He's got a good number 2. He's got some good young wide receivers that are stepping up. Rashad Rashid, A.T. Perry. He's got a great tight end core there that is actually healthy overall. And then he's got good pass-catching running backs. So I don't see where Derek Carr can't go wrong. And plus, he's playing in a dome. He's playing in a dome the whole time, basically. I think he plays like 2 games outside of a dome this year. So
the Carolina game would be outside.
Yes.
But then Atlanta both times are in a dome. However many home games they have are in a dome.
Yes. Tampa, they play outside once, I think.
Tampa,
but that's it. I think I read that somewhere. They only play 2 games outside of the dome.
And it's Carolina and Tampa. That's nuts.
Right. So he should have a pretty good season overall. So, I mean, again, if you really want to just tank quarterbacks, I don't hate Derek Carr. He's probably going to be a free agent quarterback that you pick off on using waiver wire weeks, but
just crazy. He's so much better than that.
Yeah, he is. So, but that's what it is.
All right. Well, you left me a gift here. You didn't know it, but you did. Give me Deuce Vaughn.
I knew it.
There's a very, very big hole to fill in the Tony Pollard role because Tony Pollard's going into the Zeke role, if you will. And everything that I've heard out of camp and preseason is Deuce Vaughn is, despite his size, a good football player and is, I think, going to fill into that role pretty easily.
Yeah, no, I like that. I was debating between them two, so I like that. Give me Chuba Hubbard. Everyone loves Miles Sanders, but he's banged up right now. And we already know, outside of last season, he's been a injury-prone type of running back. And is there a chance for him to get hurt? Absolutely. He's already hurt. Chuba Hubbard could step in. Again, he's not a great running back, but someone who could maybe fill in as a high-end RB3, low-end RB2 if something happens to Miles Sanders.
And Sanders isn't a great pass-catching back. There's an opportunity for Hubbard to take that too.
Exactly. Like it.
Oh, you have...
Two quarterbacks, a wide receiver, RB.
You've screwed me here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pick my poison here with the quarterbacks. I'm gonna take Jordan Love. Not a Jordan Love guy at all. But I don't know what to do with that San Francisco quarterback room. They are leaning Purdy, I think, but I am concerned that Lance will, I don't know, just be a thorn in the side. But give me Jordan Love. There's a lot of upside, I think, in the Packers offense as a whole, and Jordan Love is the key. We're going to see what I just forgot his name. LaFleur?
Mike LaFleur,
yeah.
Oh, no, it's Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur. Mike LaFleur is in Miami, right? Or in New York.
He was in New York. I think he's in L.A. now.
Whatever. Matt LaFleur. I think we're actually going to see what his offense looks like. Like, completely pure, what does Matt LaFleur's offense look like? And my biggest question is, can Jordan Love run it? I'm being talked into it just in the back of my head by my Packers fan grandfather. So I'll take Jordan Love here.
All right. I'll just take Brock Purdy. I know there's issues, but he looked good enough at the end of last year to make me believe that he can do this starting job here. And I think that he's going to have a longer leash because he was injured this offseason here. And I feel like if they go back to Trey Lance or someone else, they look like a fool.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to let Brock Purdy rock the ball as long as they're staying within 500 in terms of their record. So,
yeah. All righty. Give me Jacoby Myers. I'll take that bullet for you.
Thanks.
I do think he's still got some flex value, but I don't see him as necessarily a ceiling play here. So I'll take Jacoby.
All right. I'll take Kareem Hunt. Obviously, it's the last pick. Again, we talked a lot about Kareem Hunt. He has no team. Until he finds a team, there's all it is potential that he lands in a good situation because an injury happens at running back. So, all right, round 15 here. The last of the rounds here. All right, this round we have C.J. Stroud, Jimmy G. Tight ends, we have Taysom Hill. Running backs, we have Jeff Wilson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Cordell Patterson, Zamir White. At running back, wide receivers, Nico Collins, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Michael Gallup, and Zay Jones. Again, this round is pretty bad in terms of really finding I mean, I feel like you could say a lot of people you don't like here. So for this one,
I actually I don't hate this round.
Okay.
There's one person that I hate on this sheet, this page, but I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this a family show?
No. You can say what you
Taysom Hill. I hate that guy. I don't understand how he has continued to just vulture opportunities from multiple Saints players over the last 3 or 4 years. Like, I swear to God, the man must have pictures of Sean Payton's wife or the Saints owner's wife naked somewhere. Like, I don't know. Like, what blackmail does he have on the Saints to continue to get these touches? Like, he may be a good football player, but from a fantasy perspective, I absolutely hate the guy because I don't know what to do with him.
Don't draft him.
That being said, I did actually take him in Scott Fishbowl because I feel like he's the perfect player for Scott Fishbowl.
Yes. He 100% is, unfortunately, but he 100% is.
Yeah, I even tweeted about it. I was like, this is the most off-brand pick I will ever make, ever, and it's Taysom Hill. But that's the one guy on here that I do not like. I'll give you a bonus one real quick. It's Zay Jones. I just with the guys that we already talked about in Etienne and Bigsby, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and Evan Ingram, I don't see how Zay Jones is going to fit into this offense to be fantasy relevant.
I respect it. I don't know how he is, to be honest, but I respect it. All right, let's do the mock for this one here. I'll let you go back and being first.
No,
here.
You go first on this one.
All right, I'll go first. Give me Nico Collins. Again, that Houston wide receiver core, there's no number one yet. And I think Nico Collins has enough talent to be the number one for them this season. Again, he hasn't really shown it to the level we want yet, but I feel like it's just the opportunity and the quarterback and now CJ Stroud. I'm intrigued with Nico Collins' ability, so I'm going to give him the first nod on this.
I like that. Again, there's actually a lot of names on this list that I don't hate. I kind of like them. I'm going to go with the one who I think has the easiest path to volume. Consistent volume, because screw you, Taysom Hill. And I'm going to go Michael Gallup here.
Okay.
I mean, thinking they brought in Brandon Cooks, but Cooks has dealt with some concussions and some injuries here and there. And I think Gallup has a good chemistry, and he's got a good chemistry with Dak, but I also think he fits better as the 3 instead of the 2, to where I think we may see some more ceiling weeks from him. His floor may be a lot lower, but I think from a ceiling perspective, I like Gallup here.
I respect it. I like it. Man, this is tough. I might go Donovan Peoples-Jones, and for the same reasons as Michael Gallup, I don't think he has a floor, but I think there could be a few weeks where he booms for you in fantasy. It might come at random times, but again, I think this Cleveland Browns offense may slightly work more towards passing the ball with Deshaun Watson at quarterback here. So give me Donovan Peoples-Jones.
So I'm going to look something up real quick. I know who my next pick is.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, give me I'm torn between really 3 of the running backs here.
Oh, God.
I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire just because we talked about him earlier. But what I'm looking up is Donovan Peoples-Jones points per game. And the reason for that...
Oh, I'm excited to hear why you're bringing this up.
I think it was last year. Yeah, it had to be last year. He actually had a better points per game than Gabe Davis. So at that time,
he was good last year.
Yeah. So my point being was if you wanted, it wasn't even better. It was more consistent. Whereas Gabe Davis was actually your boom or bust guy. So it kind of depends on how you want to draft. DPJ, at least last year, did give you pretty consistent play from a points per game standpoint, finished according to, at least in Pauly's playoff scoring, as wide receiver 38. So that's a high-end wide receiver 4, so essentially a flex. So I like that DPJ pick a lot, actually, probably more than you're giving yourself credit for. But CEH, people wanted him to be a receiving back when he was drafted in the NFL. I still think that potential is there and untapped. He's just been hurt. And then I think God, this is hot takey, and I'm not trying to be hot takey, so I apologize, Steve. But he's got the best chance to be a 3-down back on this team. We've seen him running between the tackles in the NFL. That's where he's had a ton of success. But as a receiving back, he's actually been pretty good too. I'm going to go look more stats up, so you'll have to bear with me. But
you're okay.
He's also in a contract year. And I think that's huge to mention. So if we go to
running backs typically do better in contract season. So
yep. So if we go to 2020, I looked at this one time just to see if he got. I mean, shoot, if you look at his first 7 weeks. Yeah, first 7 weeks of his rookie year, he didn't score less than double digits. But then the game, he had 19.8 in week 1 for PPR, 18.4 in week 3, 20.9 in week 6. And those were he had 25 carries in week 1, 20 in week 3, 26 in week 6. He only had 2 targets in week 1, but he had 6 targets in week 3. He had 4 targets in week 6. So if you get Clyde Edwards-Helaire 25 touches a game, he's got really, really good PPR upside, I think. So give me Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. Hot take is he's the best 3-down back that the Chiefs have. He's just got to stay healthy.
And that's a big key factor, obviously, him staying healthy. So
yeah.
Man, I really hate all the people on this board here. Just give me Taysom Hill. Give me the crazy wild card upside that he has and doesn't have most weeks. So again, no one else here I really care for. So
thank you very, 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 very much. Now you didn't actually make my pick easier because I'm still between Jeff Wilson. Actually, Jeff Wilson's the pick here.
I respect it.
Again, like we've talked about all show, if Jonathan Taylor goes there, all Miami running backs that are currently on the roster take a huge hit.
That's true.
But Raheem Mostert is equivalent to Jeff Wilson, is equivalent to Devin Achane from a player type standpoint. Mostert's got some injury issues. I drafted him earlier, so we'll pretend I'm handcuffing him. Give me Jeff Wilson in round 15.
All right, I like it. Give me Zamir White. We know Josh Jacobs is coming back. We expected to come back. Josh Jacobs expected to come back. Will he? Probably, but maybe Zamir White has a bigger role this offseason compared to last year. Josh McDaniels doesn't like to use rookies in his offenses, so give me Zamir White there.
No, that's a really, really good pick, especially because coming off the holdout, I don't have the stats on this, but running backs that hold out have typically had worse seasons, I think, because they are slower to get back up to playing speed and sometimes get injured. So yeah. I like that pick a lot, especially as a late round flyer. Give me CJ Stroud here. Again, we've talked about what's the word I want to use here? We'll call it a conglomeration of less than stellar weapons in Houston. But I think that CJ Stroud, and the funny thing is typically I've been don't take Ohio State quarterbacks. They can't do anything. CJ Stroud's different. He fits that prototypical model of a quarterback. He's got the arm strength and a quick release. That's my problem with Justin Fields. That's another conversation for another day. But I think CJ Stroud is not being talked about enough as potentially the rookie QB1. Now, my rookie QB1 is still Bryce Young. Obviously, Anthony Richardson, especially if Jonathan Taylor gets traded, his rushing floor just gets that much higher. but he's got to be able to complete passes at a somewhat decent clip for that floor to matter from a ceiling perspective.
Right.
And I think CJ Stroud probably has the best arm out of all of them, combining arm strength and accuracy. So give me CJ Stroud in round 15.
All right, I like it. So the last 3 picks here, I want to speed these up and get to the last round because it's Jimmy Garoppolo, it's Cordell Patterson as the 3rd RB in Atlanta, and obviously the man you hate the most, Zay Jones. Yeah. So let's get into players that will likely be taking in these rounds here. You have at running back, Gus Edwards, Tajay Spears, Jerome Ford, Ty Chandler, Joshua Kelly, Kerryon Williams. Tight ends, maybe Irv Smith, Jawan Johnson, Jake Ferguson, who I really like. Zach Ertz, Hunter Henry, Luke Musgrave. Wide receivers, DJ Shark, J.K. Osborne, Alec Pierce, Tank Dell, Jonathan Mingo, Paris Campbell, other Giants wide receivers, Van Jefferson. So
they have those in New York?
Supposedly they're supposed to be there, but is there any 2 players that stick out the most to you?
Stick out the most to me?
That you're drafting?
Yeah, it's DJ Chark and probably Tank Dell. Yeah, probably those 2. The thing, like, Chark is 6'3", 6'4", runs a hella fast 40, and like we talked about, there's a wide open wide receiver room in Carolina. Jonathan Mingo's on this list. I like him too, but if you're making me pick 2, it's Chark and Tank Dell. And that's because Tank Dell is I think similar to Zay Flowers, and he's always going to be open. Like, he's been very, very good in camp. So those are my 2.
I like it. KJ Osborne has always been a fan favorite of mine. I'm still very in on him being very involved in this offense. He had 90 targets last year. Adam Thielen had 100 and left. I don't really see his role changing early on in the season, so I do like him a lot. And I'll give love for Jerome Ford still. I know he's banged up right now, but I'm hoping he'll be ready by week 1 still and be involved in this Browns offense a lot. So he's definitely someone I'm still willing to draft a lot in these rounds. So again, I think I would take about 2/3 of the players here over 2/3 of the players in the last few rounds. Personal opinion, so.
Yeah, I can get down with that. I think the only other guy that we didn't mention that I would consider here is Luke Musgrave.
Yeah, and he's on this. Oh, he's on the list, but yes.
Yeah. I just meant we hadn't actually talked about him. I think Musgrave has a shot as well to potentially be the number 2 target, or at least receiving target outside of Aaron Jones and Christian Watson in that Green Bay offense.
He has led the team in targets so far with the first teamers in preseason, so there's something there for sure. Diami Brown injured. Concussion.
No.
He just scored a touchdown. Things were looking good for this offense here. Oh, man. Sam Howell's going to do it. It don't matter. So
I still got Jahan Dotson. That's all that matters.
That is all that matters. So, but that is going to wrap up our show tonight, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed listening in. Hopefully this was very beneficial to see a nice breakdown of how a lot of these players go about and some players that you could probably steal, like that last list. There's a lot of players that could end up going earlier that you could take advantage of or wait and take advantage of them. So, Shane, man, always a pleasure having you on. You're a fantastic guest, man. Love doing this show with you. If there's anything you want to mention, I know you guys got some things going on over there. I'll give you the floor, my friend.
Yeah, so obviously I'm the founder of Polly's Playoff. Quickly, for those of you that don't know, it's a tournament for the Alzheimer's Association. Drafts are actually wrapping up. We've had a few leagues finish. My league, I think, is in the 19th round. I'm actually on the clock. But signups for that will probably, for year 5, will start in January. More relevant to right now, I am doing pros with Joe's again. So if you want to manage a team with me, you can actually just find the tweet on my feed or DM me, and I'll send you the link. And you can actually co-manage a team with me after making a donation again to the Alzheimer's Association through a link that I've got. So
nice. So please go do that. So, and again, I thank you, my friend, for jumping on.
Yeah, of course.
A lot of fun. And I thank you guys for those listening now or listening after on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. We do appreciate you guys tuning in. This was a wrap up of our 2023 draft kind of guide or insight, because next week we're going to be talking about a little about Dynasty and some trade talks and stuff like that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, please feel free to DM us over on our Twitter at Coaches Fantasy. Reach out to us over on YouTube whenever we have a live show. If you have questions, hit us up. Whatever you got to do, we're here to help you guys. Again, draft season is coming away. We're going to have some videos, YouTube videos, TikToks on some more in detail things over the next few weeks here to help you guys out, try to win some championships. And it all starts with the draft. So I appreciate everyone for tuning in tonight. We'll be back next Monday for just one episode. Take care, guys, and have a good one.
Back to back is not far-fetched. We got a couple of Clark